Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, the annoying voice of podcasting, and you're listening to the non-annoying Three Guys in a Flick.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
There will be no free rides, no excuses. You already have 2 strikes against you, your name and your complexion. Because of these 2 strikes, there are some people in this world who will assume that you know less than you do. Math is the great equalizer. When you do a job, the person you giving that job will not want to hear your excuses. Ergo, neither do I. You're going to work harder than you've ever worked anywhere else. And the only thing I ask from you is ganas, desire.
Three guys and a flick with Don, Ken, and John. Dive into the movies well after the dawn. From the good to the bad to the wildly absurd. They give a fuck about films. Their voices are heard.
Welcome back. You are listening to Three Guys in a Flick. This is where we review the good, the bad, and the absurd. Tonight's episode, Stand and Deliver. Beware spoilers. Coming to you from Garfield High School in East Los Angeles, my name is Don. And to my right, we have our comic book guy, John.
Hiya.
Hiya? Hiya, buddy.
What do you want me to say? Orle?
Yes. And to my left, we have the Professor, Ken.
Hello, everybody.
And tonight joining us, we have a very special guest all the way from Denver, Colorado. This is my cousin, Denise.
Hi, Don. Thanks for letting me be here tonight.
Well, we are very happy that you could be here. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you, because this is on my bucket list, Don.
Being on a podcast is on your bucket list?
Yes, because I've already been a YouTube star. I was on real live radio. I've been on TV. I've been open mic night for poetry. And so I thought I needed a podcast.
And you chose this one?
Well, that's because I only know one podcaster, and that's Don. Yes.
But we are big time now.
We are big time.
Because
Why?
Because we just hit 100,000 downloads.
Wow.
Yes. Yes, we did. Congratulations, boys.
Which is a big thing. I mean, people might think that could be a small number, but we don't advertise. We don't push this. It's all word of mouth. It's all people finding us. And I think it's a big feat for us to get 100,000 downloads. So I want to thank everyone who listens to us and everyone who's downloaded our podcast for being there for us.
Absolutely. Hear, hear. Tonight we are talking about Stand and Deliver. Stand and Deliver comes to us because Denise wanted to be on the show, and we said, hey, let's pick a movie. And she came up with Stand and Deliver. So why Stand and Deliver?
Because this is Hispanic, the beginning of Hispanic Recognition Month. And we go from September 15th, 16th until October 15th, 16th.
Excellent.
That's because Mexico got their independence, and some of the other Latin countries all got their independence from Spain all around the same time. That's why we start in the middle of the month, and I meant to tell Elise that.
Oh.
Because she thought we only got 15 days.
Well, I did too, until you just explained it to me, so thank you. Released on March 11th, 1988, Stand and Deliver was directed by Ramon Menendez, written by Ramon Menendez and Tom Muska, and it stars Edward James Olmos, Lou Diamond Phillips, Rosanna DeSoto, Andy Garcia, and a bunch of other students.
How'd this movie do, Don?
This movie was made for a mere $2 million and actually brought in $14 million.
Do you know this movie was optioned for $1?
I did not know that. Did you know that?
I did, because I did my research.
At least somebody did.
Oh, what happened to on the car ride? We're just going to have a conversation. That's funny. Professor, had you seen this movie before?
I don't think I had. I'm pretty sure I had not.
Good, sir?
I had seen this movie, but I don't know where and when.
Gotcha. Cousin?
Oh, of course I've seen this movie before several times.
Did you see?
Okay, my son was in 8th grade at Guardian Angels Catholic School, and we had a field trip, and we went and saw the movie. and we got to meet Mr. Olmos.
Oh, really? How was
Oh,
that?
wow.
That was exciting because he was a movie star and
Probably knee deep in Miami Vice too, huh?
Yes.
he was in Miami Vice.
Oh, for fuck's
Stop
sakes.
it. Don't even do that.
I know him from Battlestar Galactica,
No,
the
I
new
didn't.
version.
I didn't watch Miami Vice.
Okay, that's your loss.
Okay. But I got to meet the man.
So that makes up for it.
Right.
I agree.
Did he talk about the movie at all?
Yes, that was the whole point. It's talking about the movie and education and getting.
How long did he talk for? Like a half hour?
It was about a half hour, and then we all got to meet him.
That's very cool.
It was extremely cool. That's why I went on all the field trips.
Right on. Right on.
Did you get to ask him a question?
We probably did, but
Oh, you don't remember what you might have asked him?
no.
That was a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I remember seeing this, but my dad and I got to see this before it came out, before it was released.
Oh.
And
Aren't
so
you cool?
I wasn't, my dad is, because we saw it because of my dad. And I remember actually being really inspired. 1988, I'm in 8th grade, along with your son. And yeah, I remember loving this movie. And every time it's on, there are certain bits of this movie that will always bring a tear to my eye.
How'd you do in math?
Not very well at all.
No.
Nope.
So it didn't inspire you that much.
It inspired me to be a better human being. How about that?
And how did that go?
Yeah. How long did that last?
Well, let's see. I was in 8th grade. +2, carry the 1. 9th
Oh,
grade?
Really? Don't you want to go X equals the number of years you were in 9th grade? Just
Hey,
kidding.
I just have one question for you. What's calculus?
The number of years you were in 9th grade. How many years were you in 9th grade?
You know what? I don't want to talk about this anymore. We're moving right along. What'd you guys think of the cast?
I thought that the cast was okay. They didn't stand out in any particular way. Lou Diamond Phillips, he certainly stuck out because know who he is, and having him in the movie, I just felt like that it's like this big old neon light, bing. You know, every time he's in the shot, it's like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
For me, only really three cast members stood out. Obviously, Edward James Olmos, Lou Diamond Phillips, and I think her name was Vanessa. She played Anna.
Mm-hmm.
Just those three characters, I think, are the only three to me that were that memorable. Otherwise, I liked characters, but there wasn't much connection to them.
Those are my top 3. And Anna Delgado, and that's Vanessa Marquez's character. Anna Delgado was my favorite because she was this shy little girl, and she really wanted to do that math. And I think even though they showed in the movie where the teacher went and talked to the dad, that didn't make a difference to the dad. What made the difference was, in my mind, after the teacher left, then he had a conversation with his daughter, or he saw her sulking, washing the dishes at the thing, and he thought, that's my baby, that's my Heath. Let her go to school, let her go to math. That's what I think really happened behind the scenes.
Sure.
Well, of this story, the real Jaime has said that of this movie, 90% of it was true, 10% was drama. Of all the students, only one of them was actually based off of a real person, and it was Anna.
Oh, damn it. I was going to say Angel.
No, it was
No, it
Anna's
was-
character that was the only one that was actually based off of a real student he had.
Yeah. I thought the cast was good. Edward James Olmos, always a fan favorite. Lou Diamond Phillips. Ironically enough, La Bamba comes out the year before, and so he's kind of already a household name or on the rise. And the gal who played Jaime's wife played Richie Valens' mom in La Bamba, so they were both.
I recognize
She did
her
look
from
familiar.
somewhere.
Elise brought that up.
Oh.
Yeah, she likes La Bamba as well. So another good one.
Looking at Lou Diamond Phillips in this movie, I would have thought it was reversed. I would have thought La Bamba came out after this.
No, La Bamba was 87.
You know what was curious is that Lou Diamond Phillips, he's not even in the opening credits. I was struck by that. Andy Garcia is, but I didn't see Lou Diamond Phillips in the opening credits.
Huh. I don't know if I paid attention.
Yeah. So, because you mentioned Andy Garcia, for me, I thought in the film he played a character that he was I felt like he was a sellout to the La Gente because he was, like I think he believed those kids cheated, even though that was his job.
Right.
Oh, you're talking about the character.
Yeah, his character.
Ramirez.
Yeah, I thought his character he was a sellout.
Huh.
Andy Garcia did not want to play that role.
Why? Because they would think that he was going to be a sellout?
possibly he wanted to be a student, but they just said, no, you just don't look the part.
He's a little old to be a
Yeah.
student.
So they ended up giving him that part, and yeah.
Oh.
Maybe he thought he'd be Fonzie,
Oh, maybe. And what was Fonzie?
old student.
Well, let's admit,
Cool. Fonzie was cool.
let's admit too, those kids did look a little old to be high school students.
I don't know. For 1988, I bought them as being
Except
seniors.
for maybe
So did I.
Anna, I thought no.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. So
I just figured they were held back.
whatever. Did you know that Edward James Olmos was nominated for an Academy Award?
His only nomination.
Yeah.
In his whole entire career.
And he should have been nominated in several other movies.
Name another movie he's been in.
Why did you do that to her? Man,
Wow.
throw her on the tracks.
He's even a
You
dick
know
to his
Boosie
family.
Kaka,
American Me.
American Me.
I thought he was great in American Me.
Yeah, and then
Never saw it.
the Boosty Kaka, Selena.
Oh, Selena. Yeah. So,
Wait,
yeah, how could we forget?
Yeah.
We just shamed everybody, cuz. That's horrible.
He was in Battlestar Galactica.
That's a TV show.
I know. but
And he was fucking exceptional in Battlestar Galactica.
That's what I'm saying.
And listeners, if you've never watched Miami Vice, he's fucking brilliant as the captain.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Miami Vice was the shit.
My favorite movie role for him, though, which you're going to shit all over, Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite role for him in a
He's
movie.
great in that, actually. Come to think of it. Did you ever see Blade Runner? Harrison Ford and no?
no.
You're not missing much.
I'd like to mention that this movie, making its money for that year, it made 13 million of the 14 million for that year, and it was number 70 for box office gross. Number 69 was Poltergeist 3.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes, and number 71 was the Milagro Beanfield War.
So people weren't seeing Stand and Deliver in 87,
The thing that I was struck by,
88.
the thing that I was struck by, out of the top 25 grossing movies, there's only one drama in there.
Are the rest comedies?
16 of them were comedies
Oh, wow.
out of 25.
Oh, and then rest are action, probably.
There were like 4 action.
Really?
Yeah.
88?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
And I would be impressed if you could tell me what that one other drama, at least according to IMDb, not necessarily its first, but it is the middle choice drama. Number 7. What is that other movie?
1988
And-
drama.
And I can give you a clue if you think you'll want it.
Working Girl?
No, but that's a pretty good guess.
Okay, give me one clue.
Tootsie? No.
Hey, Toots is 83.
No. My clue is you would have hated the movie.
It was a Tom Cruise movie.
Oh,
Drama
was it
in
the one where
88.
he?
A Cocktail?
Cocktail, number 7.
Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you.
Bermuda,
All right, I didn't mean
come
to.
on, pretty
You
mama.
put the quarter in, you got to let the song play.
Don't you want to know what the number 1 grossing movie was?
In 1988, it was not Die Hard. It was,
Ghostbusters.
no, it's 84.
Oh.
1988,
It's a comedy.
I was thinking Beverly Hills Cop, but no, when did that come out?
84. God. You keep guessing Beverly Hills Cop for movies in the 90s
Well,
and
pretty
80s.
soon he's going to get it right.
Yeah,
Because he
exactly.
keeps saying Beverly Hills Cop.
I guess so. Okay, the number 1 grossing movie in 1988 was Big.
No, sir.
What was it?
Please, Eddie.
Oh. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh, I didn't see that either.
You do know this is a movie podcast, right?
I saw Big.
Okay, just check.
Hey,
Wait,
her-
have you seen Stand and Deliver?
Yes, a
Okay.
few times.
Oh, that's very
Yeah.
excellent.
hey, she wanted to be on a podcast for her bucket list. She doesn't care what kind of podcast she's going to be
It's
on.
starting to feel that way.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not a serious podcaster. I just want to.
Neither are we.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Don, is it about that time?
Why, yes, my friends, it is about that time. Welcome to another edition of Master Movie Trivia. I am your reigning champ. You may call me the champ. I have compiled 5 questions and 5 questions only to test your knowledge of the movie we are reviewing. Each question could be worth multiple points, so if you know the answer, say it. And please wait until I finish reading each question. Question number 1. At the end of the movie, we are told how many students passed the test for that year. In 1987, how many students passed the...
17.
Okay, what part of wait till I... You know what? Disqualified. How many students passed the placement exam?
87.
87 is correct. Question number 2. Anna has to stop taking her retest because she had an appointment to visit another school. What school was that?
USC.
God, look at the professor coming out on fire. USC is the correct answer. Question number 3. Escalante told his class they needed ganas to continue the pursuit of higher education. What does ganas mean?
Desire.
Tie. Tie goes to the both of you.
I only know that because you said it in the quote.
Question number 4. At the beginning of the movie, what kind of car is Jaime Escalante driving?
Volkswagen Beetle.
Wait till I finish the fucking question. Disqualified. Either of you?
Volkswagen Beetle.
Correctamundo. Congratulations, cousin.
And then what happened to that car at the end of the movie?
It got detailed by Angel and his buds.
See, he gets a point too.
What?
She's making the rules now.
What the fuck is going on here? And question number 5. What was the big controversy with Escalante students and their first AP test?
They were thought cheating.
Yeah, they're thought cheating because all of their answers were exactly the same and all their mistakes were the same.
Correct. Call that a tie as well. Even though Ken said it first, you went into more detail, so I'm going to give you both a point for that. But either way, the professor edges everybody out by 1 point and sometimes 2. Sorry, cousin.
He is the master of edging. He does it every week.
Yes, he is. He is the master edger. So congratulations, Professor. You are 1 step closer to movie immortality. In the early 1980s, Jaime Escalante becomes a mathematics teacher at James A. Garfield High School in East Los Angeles. The school is full of Latino students from working-class families whose academic achievement is far below their grade level. 2 students, Angel and another gangster, arrive late and question Escalante's authority. Escalante demonstrates how to multiply numbers by using one's fingers and appeals to the students' sense of humor. After class, some gangsters threaten Escalante. After school, he stops the gangsters from fighting. He then introduces himself as a one-man gang with the classroom as his domain. Escalante tells students that he has decided to teach them all algebra. At a meeting, Escalante learns that the school's accreditation is under threat, as test scores are not high enough. Escalante says that the students will rise to the level that is expected of them. Escalante gives the students a quiz every morning and the new student joins the class. He instructs his class under the philosophy of ganas, roughly translated to desire. So this movie opens up and we immediately have the shot of this water. And I remember thinking, we just did Usual Suspects and we open up on this big river lake, what it looked like. And I remember watching it last night and I was thinking, I don't remember this movie actually opening up on a body of water or something like that. Yeah, no, we're in the viaduct of Los Angeles.
Psych.
It's funny when they zoom out and they show the water, and Julie's first reaction was, I've been there many times and there's never been water in that thing.
That's funny. And then I also noticed when they open up to show the city, the beat actually kicks in. There's a flute or a wind instrument in the beginning, and it's kind of very calming and kind of setting the tone. And then we pan up, we see the big city, and now the beat starts kicking in. And I think that this is the director telling us this is what you're in store for. So
what I liked about this opening is we're literally just driving through town. We're getting to see East LA, and we're getting for a feel for this is the environment, this is the culture that will directly impact this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what this movie is about.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And so Jaime Escalante gets to school, and
But we're also told this is based on a true story.
and he gets there, and immediately he's kind of off guard because he was supposed to teach computer science, right?
But there are no computers.
So he gets math. What did you guys think of the whole bit when he came into school and then he finds out he has to teach math, and then he gets to see his classroom for the first time?
I don't know. I thought he was savvy. He seemed confident and comfortable where he was at. And the first thing he does when he gets in there is he says he wants the non-English speaking students to move to the front of the class. So he was ready to go right off the bat.
Yeah.
He's very flexible about, okay, I can't teach this, but I'm going to teach that. And I'm a teacher. So here I go.
Yeah.
My first impression was thinking he's kind of a meek character. He's a quiet character. And how's he going to deal with these kids that might push him around? It also kind of felt like almost the opening of every movie when you have a new teacher coming into kind of a gang related, students who just don't want to learn. They just want to have fun. So I was a little concerned at the beginning of this movie that it was just going to be a typical high school teacher substitute kind of movie.
Oh. I thought it was pretty standard as well. And the way he handles the class, he does it with a sense of humor and style. He's not afraid of any of those kids. He just kind of lets them do their thing. He kind of feels it out. And then I like how the non-English speaking students who are sitting in the back, he noticed that right away. And as soon as he started speaking Spanish to them, he got their attention along with the other kids. And I thought it was a great scene.
He struck me as a similar character that we had from a pod recently, the movie Nope. The character of OJ. He's soft-spoken, he's demure, but he also has, poise and a confidence to himself. And this character, he is not trying to offend anybody. He doesn't want to push anybody away. It's not my way or the highway type of thing. He is just very calm and poised, and he's ready to engage with the students without offending them.
One thing I really appreciated about this opening is we've talked about before when movies go into long explanations or long introductions or long background stories of people, we get everything we need to know really quick. Like we get the fact that he's quit his job to become a teacher. He was supposed to do computers and now he's been handed mathematics. We get the fact that we go in and you can see all the different students. You could already tell, who's a part of the gang, who's the meek, quiet girl, who's, the guy who wants to romance all the girls, who's the girls who just want to press the guys. You get all that really quick.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say this, I personally think this movie is really well paced. And I think the way that the director chose to move the story along, for me, it works. And this is one of those bits. It's a quick introduction, and then Jaime goes home.
Okay, but at the end of the day, he gets out to the car and his car's radio stolen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So, and not only that, during class, someone started fucking with the bells. And so he kept thinking that class was over.
I thought it was a really quick class.
That's what I thought too.
Okay, so I want to go back to his teaching style, because math is very boring and can be very boring for people, but he did real life examples like cutting the apple.
That's the next day.
Yeah.
And that, getting them involved in real life things about math instead of just writing it on the board.
Yeah. And I think that's what really great teachers do is they engage.
Well, one thing I thought was really kind of cool about this movie is I think I've mentioned it before on this podcast. My mother was a math teacher for over 30 years, and she taught very similar to how Jaime did. In fact, the finger thing, she taught me that. Mm-hmm. That's how she used to tutor students, teaching the mathematics on the fingers, the multiplication. She did a lot of the same stuff. So already just right in when they're doing that, I had already connected with this movie.
Yeah. And I like the bit where Angel and his buddy are kind of pushing him a little bit, and they're trying to establish dominance, if you will, of the classroom. And Jaime's having none of it. And so he turns it around and he does, he kind of makes a fool of him, but he's proving his point. And at the end of the class, when they all come in, and he's just not afraid of them.
Another thing about his teaching is that he held them accountable. Even though he was flexible with them and was teaching with examples. When they came in late, it's like a job. You came in late,
You got to get out.
get out,
Yeah.
and then, so I like that. He was teaching them about being accountable as well as teaching them about math.
Right.
One of the key things that I really liked about this was you were talking about how when they tried to intimidate him, a lot of people that would have just said, screw it. I don't need to be here. I could go at a better job. He still stood his ground. It reminded me of when my mother, when she was teaching, she had a kid pull a knife on her one time.
Oh, yeah?
And basically she looked at the kid and said, well, you have a choice. You can either stab me or give me the freaking knife. And he ended up giving her the knife. And so she kept that knife in her desk drawer for like the next 30 years.
Wow.
Because to her, it was a symbol of her passion to be there to teach these kids.
Yeah. Well, good for her. That's fantastic.
So the Apple example that we have where he's teaching fractions like that, I thought that was a wonderfully engaging opportunity for him to pull the students in, to have them begin to look at math as it can be interesting. You just have to give it a chance.
I like when he asks Pancho, what you got? And he said, a core? Because the dude ate the apple.
Yeah.
I would have done the same thing. I would have ate the fucking apple.
And he said, you owe me an apple.
That's right. You owe me 100% of an apple. Yeah.
And then we go outside and there is a fight happening out in the courtyard. And it's Pancho, I believe, that's in the fight. And he's screaming for Angel.
Oh, it's the other gangster guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
it's
yeah.
not Pancho. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the guy he came into the classroom with.
Yeah, who is also in American Me. And yeah, he's calling for his partner, Angel, help him. And Escalante sees this, and he sees Angel, Lou Diamond Phillips, going to help, but he intervenes.
He holds him back. I wonder why he decided to hold specifically Angel back.
Really?
Yeah.
You wonder why?
I was trying to decide why he didn't just try to go break up the fight, but instead he chose, did he see something in Angel or?
Yeah, that was my impression, because he didn't want him to be in the fight and then get suspended or whatever. He wanted him to stay in the class.
Yeah, he believed him then, and it wasn't too late for Angel. Right? These guys are already in a fight. They're already going to be dealt with. He stops Angel from getting in the fight and even getting involved, and thus he doesn't get in trouble. But yeah, I think he sees something in him, and I think he sees something in all of his students.
Agreed.
And he's one of those teachers that actually fucking cares, and it shows, and he fucking pushes them. But on the flip side of that coin, he also pushes himself, but we'll get there.
So the next day he says to the faculty that he wants to teach them algebra. And they're like, are you, what?
Yeah.
What?
But he gets to do it.
Well, the interesting thing is we start out this meeting and it seems like all these other teachers don't even want to be there. They're already talking about other jobs. They're already talking about, this problem and that problem. He's the only one there who says, I want to teach. I want to do something with these kids.
The woman who was the head of the math department, it's like she had no confidence in these kids. And so she was down thinking, oh, they don't have that ability. And Escalante says about, well, they need to rise to their expectations. And that's true for all kids and most people. If you give them a bar that's high enough, they are going to reach it. If you give them a bar that's too low, they're going to reach that too.
Sure.
And I was really disappointed that she, as the head of the department, would just they're going to fail. You're wasting your time.
Yeah, and she has already written them off to be part of the statistics that was going on in the public schools at that time.
Right.
It already seemed like, too, they were talking about losing their accreditation because their test scores were too low. Like they were already planning to lose their accreditation. They weren't going to try to do anything to save it.
Right.
So we have just in the first, we're probably maybe 15, 20 minutes into the movie, we have the novelty of the Apple example. And then after that, we have the novelty of the negative and positive fill the hole. And then right after this, negative and positive filling the hole, then he gets the whole class chanting that a negative times a negative equals a positive, and over till everybody is saying it. Everybody is ingraining it.
Yeah.
And so it just in the first 20 minutes of the movie, it's like, okay, man, this guy's got heart. He's got passion.
Well,
He's got ganas.
There was even right before that, the first thing he did was the finger thing, which everyone just seemed to kind of marvel at. You can do multiplication with your fingers?
Yeah. And so he tells the class that they're going to learn algebra, and it goes pretty well. And he tells them, you can do whatever you set your mind to, as long as you have the desire, the ganas. And he really instills that in these kids.
One of the things that, I don't know, I love the story. I love the meaning behind this movie. The thing I wish there was a little bit more of is because we talked about how there's time jumps in this movie. And as the time jumps go, you see he's connecting more and more with the kids. But they never really show what it is that he does that connects to these kids. He does show, these little things like getting them chant, getting them to, the apple and all that. But I wish there was a little bit more of personal development in this movie, that we got to see how he reached those kids. Am I making sense?
Yeah. And one of the ways that I saw that he reached the kids is he invited them to his home and he cooked dinner for them as they were studying. And so it only showed a little bit of that, but in real life, he probably did more of that on that personal level.
So he goes on now telling the students that he is going to give them daily quizzes. And these daily quizzes it's treated with is such disdain. Oh, more work. So he's already starting to really ramp up the expectation here that, it's going to be uphill with him. There's no slack. There's no easy time.
Yep.
Did you notice, though, as the time went on, his classroom was shrinking a little bit? People were disappearing from the classroom?
Oh, there is so much missed continuity throughout the classroom, but I didn't care.
I just assumed it was people who just couldn't keep up or didn't care or who didn't want to do the math. Like the, Angel's gang member friend, he disappears real quick and doesn't come back from to the classroom.
Yeah. I mean, the classroom definitely fluctuates,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't care.
A wonderful moment that also happens around this time in the movie is when Angel approaches Escalante and he says that he wants a book.
I love this bit.
And the whole bit about, you don't want them to know that you have a book. Well, let me give you 3.
One for the classroom, one for your locker, and one for home.
What I loved was when he gave him the books, what did Angel say?
Thank you.
No, he said,
He
this
gets
one's
protection.
He goes, this one's broken. I want a go.
Oh, that's right.
So he
That's
actually
right.
cared about the book.
Well, I mean, yeah, but what Escalante asks Angel is priceless as well. What do I get out of this? And what does he say?
You get protection.
So, hey, there you go. Escalante tells other faculty that he wants to teach the students calculus. He seeks to change the school culture to help students excel in academics, as he has seen the untapped potential of his class. Other teachers ridicule him as the students have not taken the prerequisites. Escalante states that the student can take the prerequisites over the summer. He sets a goal of having the students take advanced placement calculus by their senior year. The students sign up for the prerequisites over the summer. There is no air conditioning, but Escalante is able to teach the class, giving them oranges and telling them to focus so they can get good jobs and take vacations. In the fall, he gives the students contracts to be signed by parents. They must come in on Saturdays, show up an hour early to school, and stay until 5 p.m. in order to prepare for the AP Calculus exam. So the faculty's sitting around, and they're talking about losing the accreditation, right?
Yep.
And
They got to do something to bring test scores up.
and they're kind of asking, we can do more or whatever. And Jaime says, I want to teach my students calculus next year, right? And the head of the math department's like, are you fucking high? These kids can't even get past 1 + 1. You want to teach them fucking calculus? Again, showing that she has no faith in them. But if you notice, the principal is immediately intrigued.
Well, one interesting thing, if you go to the real story, his original principal didn't want him to do this and hated the fact that he did it, and basically was upset, tried to fire him several times because they didn't have the money for them to be taking these placement tests. So he thought it was just a waste of time, waste of money. It wasn't until 2 years in that he got a new principal who actually supported him in this.
Well, that would have made for a much longer movie.
Yeah.
So it's around this time we start to see the students outside of home. We get to see Angel at home studying, and he eventually stops studying and he heads out for the evening. We get to see Lupe. She's at home and she sends her dad off to work. And then mom comes home completely exhausted, turn off the lights. And so she has to stop studying, I guess.
After she just put her 12 brothers and sisters to bed?
Yep. Then we see Angel. He's dropped off. It's twilight. He's been out all night.
Yes, he has.
Was he drunk?
Probably, or
high.
or either, or both.
Yeah, I was just wondering if he was just really tired or if it seemed like he was a little bit drunk.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he's way drunker in a later scene, but
Yeah.
he comes stumbling in, and I like how everyone says late, right? Because they all call each other out and keeping each other accountable. And Escalante at first isn't having any of it. You're late, go see the principal, have a nice day, whatever he says.
But eventually he says, I'm a sinner and I'm willing to pay for my sins.
Escalante says, okay, one-time deal. And then I like what he says afterwards. You're not going to believe this, but I forgot my pencil. After they make this big thing of always being prepared. So good.
Next scene after this, we are at the restaurant. We have Jaime and his wife. They're out to dinner. Okay, this is going someplace.
Because we're told that Anna can no longer be in math class because she's got to work in the restaurant.
She says this is my last day
Right.
in the classroom.
And so, something's coming.
That's right. She gives Angel her pencil because she won't need it any longer.
That's right. And so they're at dinner and they pay the bill, and the owner comes out, Anna's dad, and Jaime's already fucking with him, saying you need to fire your staff or send them back to school because they can't do math, which is supposed to be funny because she's fucking brilliant at math, right?
Mm-hmm.
But her and her dad get into it, and no matter what you think or if lines were crossed or boundaries were crossed, whatever, Escalante's sole meaning out of all of this was just looking out for Anna. And he saw her potential, and he even starts with, she could be the first person of your family to graduate from high school, let alone go to college, and she'd tell you how to run the business.
Mm-hmm. She'll teach you some things about making this business better.
Yeah.
But and it's what's so great about it is how he doesn't back down from the dad. He keeps pushing his point.
Yeah.
That Anna deserves a shot at this, regardless of her future.
Absolutely. And because naturally the dad is going to be defensive. I know I'd be defensive. Come and tell me how to raise my kid. Fuck off. Right. But going back to what we were talking about earlier, Denise, I agree with you. I think the dad goes back and sees, his daughter sad or going through the motions and just accepting her fate. And then him finally relenting and say, okay, you're right. Your education is important. Go to school.
One of the great things about this scene, and I mentioned this earlier, is she's the only student that, is based off of a real student. This scene actually happened. This is, he really did go and fight for her right to go back to school.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
Right.
Supposedly as contentious.
Yeah.
Right. But he didn't go with his wife. He went with either another teacher or somebody else, but it wasn't the wife.
Oh, look at you three.
So the next day, the class is off to a good start. They're all banging on the desk, doing some sort of a chant or whatever it is. And he says, all right, I got a problem on the board. And then he's like, what's the answer? No.
Sit
No.
down. Yeah.
No. And then who shows up?
Anna. And this is what she says. X equals Pedro's girlfriends. 5X equals Juan's girlfriends. X minus 1 equals Carlos's girlfriends. X plus 5X plus X minus 1 equals 20. So X equals 3.
I love that bit.
Anyway,
Well-
I wrote that down because that was one of my favorite scenes.
It
In
was
the
so
movie.
powerful.
Yeah,
It's a very powerful moment in the movie. It's
Yeah.
like, ta-da! There she is, and the whole class cheers at the end.
It's one of those feel-good moments that this movie has quite a few in,
Well,
I think.
It also shows that not only is he connecting with the students, but the students are connecting with each other and they're becoming a family.
Right. And so they are on the move. They are going to do calculus and they are going to get through the prerequisites.
But first, he has to teach them trigonometry, and that is going to have to happen over the summer. And so he's got to have a remedial course over the summer that he's going to have to do with them. And Raquel, he doesn't like Escalante dictating the terms, and he just walks out.
I can't believe those kids actually were willing to give up their summer. So,
and again, I like the way this movie is paced and it's moving. We don't need a long, drawn out bit that they're in summer school, which it's one scene. We know what they're doing. We know that it's miserable and it's portrayed to us, and we can just progress right along.
So it's a new school year, and he has a contract that he wants all of his students to sign the next day. He wants it back the next day.
Yeah, and all of them but one sign it, Pancho. And so he has to convince him. So they're going to show us how he does it.
That's a great example.
He's going to get in the car and he's going to go driving with him and talk to him about his future, which, the teacher going above and beyond.
Well, this was this is exactly what I wanted to see with more of the kids and more of. But I love this scene with him stripping the car or the gear shift and driving the guy nuts in the car.
There's another student. We have Claudia. She tells her mom to sign it. So even though it's extra hours, but what does mom say? Mom says, well, boys don't like it if you're too smart.
That's another example of there was no support from home for these kids to advance and do better. The mom would be just as satisfied if her daughter just got married and had some kids and didn't do anything. But what's her name again? Claudia. She wanted to advance. And so Mr. Teacher Escalante, he's the one who gave her that desire.
Agreed.
To do that. And so that was kind of a sad scene for me, for the mom to just say, oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But that
a little heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was sad.
That's a great example too of why Jaime was really reaching his kids, because here's the mom saying something like that, whereas as Escalante is saying, I believe in you that you can do this, that you are smart and that you can get this. So what they weren't getting at home, they were getting from him.
Right.
We had one other scene with Claudia that happens right after this, which I think is a good balance, if you will, to show that, everything that Escalante does isn't necessarily for the best. And what I mean by that is Claudia, she is super tired and she just doesn't these early morning classes. And he says, we have to stay late again. She's like, no. And so she gets up and she leaves. And then Escalante makes some boyfriend joke or something like that. And then he ends up running down the hallway to catch up to her. And what she says is, I don't appreciate you using my life to entertain the class. And so, I thought that was well put. And so sometimes you go a little too far.
Yeah, he's not perfect.
Yeah, and he makes up for it, and he recognizes that he fucked up, and they make up.
But
they hug.
But the fact that he chased after her also showed her how much he cares.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I was very proud of her for saying that, because it proved that she knew that she had her own authority over her own her own needs. She knew what her needs were, and so she was able to say that to him.
We have Angel sitting with his grandma, and she's in a waiting room, and she's sitting there hacking away. So I was like, oh, look at him. He's a good kid. He's helping grandma out here. He doesn't want to be sitting there like that, I'm sure. But, there he is, doing a noble thing, helping his grandma out. And he ends up going up and he's, hey, how much longer do we have to wait? It's been here a while.
Right.
And so I appreciated this moment where it shows Angel is somebody that has not only, passion for the math, but also compassion for people in his life.
And so because he was at the hospital with her, he's late to class. And Jaime already said, you got one chance and you blew it. And you can tell that tensions are on the rise. People are getting tired, this, that, and the other, because Escalante doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't care why Angel was late. He was just fucking late. And so get out. And then Angel snaps.
He throws the desk.
Yeah. He's like, well, okay, after all of this talk that you give us, and you can't forgive me for this, or you won't even fucking listen to me. You know, fuck you, dude. I'm out. But Angel has the best plan ever. Later that night, Jaime's at home having dinner with his family, and his wife is even like, you know what, you're doing too much.
Yeah, she's complaining to her son about the 60-hour weeks that he's putting in, as well as the volunteering that he's doing on top of that.
Yeah, because he's always on the phone or he was doing something or other. And so
We see that it's Christmas, apparently, and she's complaining, can you just not work at Christmas?
he's like, yeah, okay.
And then ding dong, the doorbell.
He gets up and goes, gets it. And so Angel brings his grandmother over to the Escalantes so she can explain why he was late and ask Mr. Escalante to let Angel back into the class.
It's perfect because obviously he can say no to Angel. He can't say no to the grandma.
That's right.
But I love the two of them standing outside where he says, this is low.
Even
Something
for
smells
you.
good.
Yeah. He says, I've seen a lot of underhanded tricks in the past, but this is the lowest, Johnny.
Yeah. And then he says, something smells good. And he just walks in.
Yeah. Well, and he also looks at Jaime and says, I need calculus, which I thought was great.
We have the moment where he like blows a gasket, about nobody getting this problem right. He storms out of the room. Do you know this moment that I'm talking about?
Yes, because Lupe comes up with the answer and he says, no, that's wrong. And everyone starts going, no, Kimo, that's right. And he's like, what's with you guys? You guys have lost it. This is easy stuff, and it's kind of a tell sign that something's going on.
I thought maybe that this would come back later on in the third act of the movie, that whatever it was that everybody did something wrong with, maybe it was going to tie into something that's going to reveal itself in the third act as to, oh, that's why the students missed that problem type of thing.
Yeah, that's maybe why they were accused of cheating, because they all got that one wrong.
When I saw that scene, I thought he was tricking them because everybody kept saying, oh no, it's right, it's right, it's right. And I thought he was going to come back and say, you're right. Like
you're fighting for it.
Yeah. And he wanted, like if so many people got it right, and he was just tricking them that, oh no, it's wrong.
Oh, I thought that he was going to have a heart attack. I thought he was going cuckoo. Two weeks before the students' calculus exam, Escalante is teaching an ESL class to some adults. He suddenly clutches at his torso in pain, stumbles into the hallway, and falls. A substitute teacher is found for the students while Escalante recovers in the hospital. But the substitute teacher is a music teacher. Soon after, Escalante escapes from the hospital and shows up at school to continue teaching. After taking the AP Calculus exam, the students head to the beach to celebrate. All 18 students who took the exam passed it. At a meeting to congratulate the students, a plaque of appreciation is presented to Escalante. So yeah, the next scene we get is him being overworked, teaching English. And, for what this scene is him having a heart attack and he looks like shit. One of the cutest moments of this movie happens for me. So he's saying everything in English and they're repeating. And as he's clutching his chest and he's figuring it out and he's going to excuse himself, he says, "Uno momento, por favor." And everyone says, "One moment, please."
I did like that moment too.
It makes me laugh every single time. It's one of those subtle little things, because what happens next is,
Serious.
absolutely. And the way he sells having this heart attack, I bought it. And so he is in the hospital and the students are worried, and
In comes their substitute teacher.
who is really a music teacher.
He's never taught math.
And clearly the substitute doesn't know what he's doing. And clearly the class gets it and understands it. But we specifically cut to Anna, who takes out her workbook and dives right in because she knows you got to keep moving forward. And so she keeps it going.
One thing I thought was kind of interesting was and was kind of touching was when Escalante was in the hospital, his wife and son are saying, okay, you need to take it easy. You're overworking yourself. You're pushing too hard. And he's like, yeah, I'll take it easy. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he's told
And then
to have no stress for a month.
And then the next thing we see is him. He has snuck out of the hospital and he's telling the music teacher to go away.
Well, before that, though, he writes the equation or the next problem on a piece of paper, and he looks at the nurse, and he says, what time do you get off work? So he's sending the class, the work. And so I'm assuming this is a couple days later. He shows up back to school, and everyone's thrilled to see him. And I like how all the students are like, hey, Kimo, you got to take it easy. Why aren't you in bed? Why are you here? And he believes so much in them and believes in what he's doing. I mean, he's literally putting his life on the line here at this point.
Next day, and there they are, filling in the bubbles on the test.
Well, I remember thinking last night when I was watching it, this is a really quick scene. It's the test they've all been preparing for, and it's like 10 seconds. It's just really, really quick. And then I thought, oh, that's because we have to stretch out the other one coming up.
and do you know what I kept thinking about this scene?
Summer school?
Summer school, and I was waiting for someone to do a tension breaker.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I thought too when they did this with summer school.
I was waiting for the summer school like music to start or just something.
Yeah. Summer School is a movie that was made in 1987, and it was something that we reviewed. Cause I'm just trying to catch up.
That deer in the headlight look, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Next scene we get, they're out frolicking in the surf.
Because it's over. Imagine that relief, right?
Absolutely.
All the two-a-days, all the weekends, all that work, and it's fucking over.
Angel, join us. Come on.
And he's like real reluctant at first.
No,
but
I don't want to get my pants wet.
yeah, it's such an angel thing to say.
Yeah.
But he does. He runs in and they celebrate. And I like this scene because it's them kind of bonding and just, letting off steam. And then we find out that not one, not two, but all 18 of the kids passed. Everything that the faculty said couldn't be done, he did. Against the odds, even with a heart attack, all of that. And he fucking did it, And so they're having this celebration.
They present him with a plaque.
Yeah, which I thought was very touching. And this is the bit where Angel comes in hammered. And this is one of my favorite bits too, because he comes up to Escalante all kind of wobbly and he tells him to go stand up there. And you see that other dude walk over to him and ask him what was wrong with him. You know what he said?
He said he walks like that, or he always walks like that.
Yeah,
or
he's sticking up for him.
Yeah.
It's so good.
he walks wobbly, whatever it was so funny.
Yeah.
Well, the coolest thing about all of them passing, and Escalante mentions this earlier, is they actually get college credit for passing this specific course. So they already have their foot in the door in a college education.
Right.
I mean, it was one of the nice things, again, about having a math teacher for a mother, and for me passing these kind of tests, is I got to skip completely out. I didn't have to take any math in college because of these placement tests.
To the dismay of both Escalante and the students, the Educational Testing Service questions the students' exam scores. Escalante finds an anonymous letter of resignation in his school mail and has to walk home that evening, as his car has been stolen from the school parking lot. Dismayed, he confides in his wife that he regrets having taught the students calculus, because they did well, but nothing changed for them. Fabiola reassures him, stating that his students appreciate his efforts regardless. This is confirmed when some of them show up at his house with a surprise. They have fixed up his car as a way of a thank you. Escalante meets with the investigators from the Educational Testing Service, argues with them, but ultimately offers to have the students retake the test. Despite having only one day to prepare, all the students pass, and Escalante demands that the original scores be reinstated. The film ends with captions indicating that in the summer of 1982, Escalante's entire class was able to pass the AP Calculus, and in the subsequent years, his program has become even more successful. Roll credits. So we're having a day in the life of the kids after the test, and we see Lupe and Pancho running around the house, having a good time, playing with the kids, using the water gun, whatever. And Lupe gets a phone call, and immediately from the phone call, we are told that something is wrong. And we then find out that the students have been accused of cheating.
They all receive a letter regarding irregularities were found. And so enter Pearson and Ramirez.
The two guys.
Yeah, the interrogators, if you will.
Mm-hmm. They are convinced, well, maybe not convinced, but they have to exhaust all possibilities. So, but I bet you they think that they cheated.
Well, and then here's the thing. They were both in the room when all the students took the test. So common sense would go, well, how did they cheat? Because we were watching them. But Ramirez really kind of pissed me off because I thought he was being a sellout and not trusting that those kids could be as smart as he is, because obviously he was very smart to have that job. So why couldn't they be that smart?
Right.
Well, the question came down to when they were scoring the tests, these kids, and it was actually what really happened in real life, they all got the same problems wrong. They all used the same formulas, all the same things, made the exact same mistakes. So what they had assumed is these kids had gotten copies of the tests beforehand and had already planned out how they were going to do it, and that's why they all did it the same. What he didn't factor in is these kids all summer long and all year long had been working together, learning all of this stuff. So if they were learning it the same way, it's very clear that they probably would make the same mistakes and get the same things wrong. So because they were all taught the exact same way. But he wasn't factoring that in. He was factoring in that they were all individuals, all learning on their own. So how did they all make the same mistakes?
Yeah, well, Escalante brings that to their attention.
Mm-hmm.
He says they all had the same teacher. They all missed the same question, so it has to be me, right? He was trying to find out what the irregularities were and how they were cheated, but
earlier what Professor was saying about them all getting that one question that they all thought was right and that maybe that was going to come back, to me that was foreshadowing that yes, they all thought the same way, so yes, they're all going to make the same mistakes.
I just thought it was going to have to be that they're going to have to prove that they really can do it by doing it again. I didn't think they'd have to take the whole test again. I thought it would be quickly and easily settled by they come back into the classroom and then they have each one of them come up to the board and answer one or two problems.
sure.
Not the same ones, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but no, they tell Escalante, if you really want to prove them right, have them take the test. And I'm on Escalante's side on this one. Why? They just fucking proved it to you. Unless you can show me exactly how they cheated, he was kind of right in questioning if this was happening in Beverly Hills, you wouldn't fucking lift a finger about it.
It's all because of their last names.
Right. And, and this is where Andy Garcia, you can't say I'm racist or whatever, but I mean, I get doing your job, but at some point you're dealing with human beings. And, if you had proof or whatever, you would think that they would just say it.
Ramirez put it in a way to say that he's kind of stuck between, a rock and a hard place in that if he doesn't question them, isn't he, not questioning them because of who they are? And if he does question them, he's questioning them because of who they are. He's going to be called racist either way. But I also thought it was interesting. Did you notice kind of early on, it seemed like Escalante, he kind of started questioning his head, did they cheat? And he kind of goes through a transition of, did I do the right thing? Did I do the wrong thing? Did I pick the right kids? And then he's like, no, I'm going to go fight for these kids. And that's when he goes and sees them. It's sad that they had to retake the test, but it did again show, exactly who they are. I really liked the scene where they were all being questioned. What did you think of that scene, Professor?
Oh, I really thought it was fun the way Angel admitted that he was the one that passed out the test to everybody in the class because it added an air of levity.
And how did he get the test?
Just how absurd how absurd all of the students thought that this was.
Well, at first they were like, what the fuck is he doing? Right? Because I don't think any of them cheated. And he comes up and he just says, we're busted. You might as well admit it.
Yeah, but how did he say that he got a copy of the test?
They strangled the mailman.
And where was the mailman?
His body's decomposing in my locker. Yeah.
We also have Chemo. He has this anonymous resignation letter in his mailbox. And so he's questioning. It's like, maybe the students feel like that I pushed them too hard. And then to have him go outside and his car is not there and he walks home.
Oh, so defeated. Did you notice the bridge he walks across is the same bridge from Lethal Weapon?
You know, I was wondering.
Yeah. Yeah. When they're on the phone. Would you get a bad personal phone call, the stock market crash or something? Here, don't worry, have a French fry. Lethal Weapon is a movie that was made in 1987. Mel Gibson and Danny Glover.
I didn't watch it.
Shocker.
It's a buddy cop movie.
You're not missing anything.
Did you think he thought that the students put that note in his box? Because I thought it was
The head of the math department.
that's who I
thought that's who it was too.
Yeah. But
So
we didn't find out, right?
no, I don't think
It's
we ever
not,
find out.
it's not revealed to us, the audience.
No,
Yeah.
but do you think that when he was walking home after his car wasn't there, he may have thought it was a student that put that in his box?
I think that he truly didn't know who to think.
Okay.
I was just thinking that he's feeling, beaten down and defeated. And
Yeah.
certainly as soon as he gets into the house and, he goes into the bedroom.
And that's where he tells his wife, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe this was his mistake.
So what did you think when his car was stolen, Denise?
I guess I didn't really. He was.
Did you think it was stolen?
I did.
Did you?
And then I just was focused more on his, so sadness and defeatedness and whatever. So I just think he just wanted to go home and just go to bed and forget everything until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The whole time I thought to myself, I don't think his car is stolen. I'll bet you the students are doing something nice for him.
Wow.
That's what I actually thought.
I love that.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, look at him being so good-hearted.
Good. Yeah.
And when I say something positive like that, thinking positive, you go, bullshit, you didn't think that.
Because you didn't. That's the difference.
Well, this time
Well,
I
I
did.
know why he thought that.
Why?
Because he connected with those students.
Oh, and I was being
Because
racist.
Because you're a teacher. I never thought that.
Well, that's what he would
He's
say.
just joking with you because I think because you're a teacher, I think that's why you felt that way.
All right, that's cool.
You think the best of your kids? You never look at them and go, freaking hooligans.
No,
Liar.
No. absolutely not.
Oh, I know. I've seen you teach.
Yeah, for me, if I was a teacher, I'd be like, okay,
Well, first of all, they wouldn't even let you be a teacher.
this one is going to be a fry clerk. This one's going to do 5 or 10. This one's going to do.
Wow. Racist.
This one needs to marry rich.
Racist. Ageist. Sexist. You're just an ist
Yeah.
all the way around. And so he says, fine, fuckers, we'll retake the test. And he
Actually, he never says that.
Well, they call in and they say
That's how it is said, because the very next scene, because he never says we'll do it, but the next scene is all the students are lined up calling in.
well, what I meant was clearly he had a conversation with the students.
Right.
And so they were like, all right, fuckers, let's do this. And they all call and tell them they want to sign up. I like how Lupe calls and then hangs up because Pancho was being a dick.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, that was good. That was good.
Call collect.
Yeah.
Make them pay for it.
And so they're having a meeting in the classroom where they're getting ready to get started. And Claudia says something like, maybe it'll be the same test. And this is where Jaime starts saying, no, it's going to be harder. They think of you as cheaters.
He
Don't-
gives such a good speech here.
So
such
good.
a good speech.
Yeah. Don't wear anything that has too many pockets. Don't fidget. Don't look around. I mean, he's warning them and he's pretty much telling them this is going to be way harder than
They're going to make it harder.
they're going
want-
to. Yes, they're going to make it harder to try to prove you wrong.
Yeah, because they want to be right.
Right. And so, and this is the bit where the test scene is a longer scene, right? Because we're getting the tension. We're getting, Ramirez and the other dude are there for the test. Did you notice when Angel walks in, he throws his hands up to be searched?
I did not notice that.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, he's so funny.
Yeah.
What'd you think with Anna having to leave early?
Oh,
I thought she was screwed.
No way. She's fucking going to Princeton or Yale. She's too smart.
Mhm.
She's way too smart. But I was proud of her because, I already fucking took your test and I fucking nailed it. And now you're going to put me through this bullshit. And I have a meeting with USC. So, I'm going to go talk to USC. And so they take the test. And now
Back at school, Mr. Escalante, did you hear? Did you hear the news? We got the computers.
full circle, roll credits. It's a nice little bit. And he's, anxious. He wants to know what the fuck is going on.
So he hits the principal up again.
And the principal's like, fine, fuck, dude, I'll call again. But this time there's answers. And I got to admit, every single time, this is one of those moments that makes me tear up at this movie. Just because of the expression on Jaime's face when
He says,
when the first number is read, right? Because the principal's on the phone and goes, yes, I get it. The scale is 3 to 5, you pass, blah, 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 right? And then he starts reading the names and he says, whoever the first name was, did you write it down?
No.
Oh, he says whatever the first name was, 4. And then the next name, 5. And Jaime stops, turns around and walks out because he fucking knows and they fucking nailed it.
No, but what he says, well, the scores.
Yes.
I want the original scores reinstated.
Motherfucker. That's right. And my favorite one of all of those is Angels because it's the very last one.
He's
Because
got a 5.
there's a dramatic pause and it's the shot of Lou Diamond Phillips sitting in the chair, which I think is on the fucking poster. And he says, Angel Guzman, 5. It's just so good.
And I really appreciated the 4 students, the 4 main characters. It shows the faces of our students when the scores are said by the principal.
Yes, agreed. And I love how even Pancho, is it Paco or Pancho?
Pancho.
He
He gets a 3.
gets a 3.
He passes.
Yeah, absolutely. And earlier in the film, he's like, I'm the dumb fucking one. You guys have a better shot of doing this without me. To which, somebody laughs and he says, don't laugh at me. And I love what Jaime says. How can we laugh at you? You're too busy breaking our hearts. So good stuff. And as Jaime is walking out in victory, we are told via text that, this isn't the first year this happens. It goes on and it progressively gets better and better every single year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was Stand and Deliver.
Welcome to a new segment we like to call
Face the wheel.
The premise is simple. I will spin the wheel and whatever movie comes up, John and Don will apply it to the movie that we are reviewing. Once they have presented their idea to me, I will decide who the winner is of this week's wheel. So here are the categories: mashup, plot, rename, reboot, alternate ending. I liked it better when it was called spin again. Pick any. Add any character from any movie. And here we go. Alternate ending.
Oh, alternate ending. Okay, so we have to come up with an alternate ending to Stand and Deliver.
I got it.
Okay, go for it.
So the movie goes exactly, obviously, the way the whole movie went. And at the very end, all of the kids pass and they realize wait a minute, there's 18 of us, but 19 kids passed. And then this big football player comes in and says, he had the hall pass the whole time.
So your alternate ending to this film is just adding another character at the end?
Well, I'm adding the ending of Summer School. Just add a little bit of comedy at the end. The guy who basically left in the beginning to go to the bathroom comes in. He's the 19th one that also passed.
Oh, I got you. My alternate ending is, in fact, they did cheat and Angel did intercept the mailman and his body is actually decomposing in his locker.
So he was telling the truth all along.
Yes.
But it was so far fetched, they were like, that couldn't be the truth.
No, I think he gets caught too.
Oh.
And he gives a fuck.
They go to Shawshank.
Yeah, sure.
I saw that movie.
Oh, you did?
Shawshank
Wow.
for Gems.
Yeah, a long time ago
Did you like it?
when it first came out. Oh, yeah. I liked it.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it was all about, but I liked it at the time. Those are both really awesome.
Alternate endings?
Should we let her pick the winner?
Unless you have one. How would you end it?
Well, I started off like you saying they really did cheat,
Uh-huh.
but then I didn't have the imagination to go to and the mailman's in the locker and all of that. But I think his is funny because it would be, like a full circle. The guy comes back and he has, you said the hall pass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty funny.
He was in the bathroom all.
Yeah, the whole time. And he comes out
Yes.
with, this is funny.
All right, Professor. Who fucking won?
This week, the point goes to So you're the end of summer school, and you are
An original alternate ending.
The very morbid, sad
Morbid,
ending.
yeah.
that
Kind of
they
depressing, kind of, yeah.
And does Jaime go and throw himself off a cliff or something afterwards?
Whoa, it's my movie. Fuck off.
Okay.
so this week. The point goes to Don.
How did you figure that one out?
Because he liked it better. Why? What are you trying to do here?
Again,
It's a tie.
I really like her.
What the fuck?
Did you not?
Whose side are you on? Do you want to walk home?
Did you or did you not hear? I will decide who this week's winner is of the wheel. Did you not hear that part?
You know why? Because he doesn't want to walk home.
And
That's
he's got
why.
ganas, right? He's got the desire to pick the best one.
I got a set of ganas for you.
And that concludes this week's
Face the wheel.
All right, what do you guys think? You guys ready to rate this flick?
I'm ready to rate this flick. What do you think, Denise? Are you ready to rate this flick?
I'm ready to rate this flick. How about you, John? Are you ready to rate the flick?
Oh, absolutely. I'm ready to dive in deeper than a long division problem and get more wild than an exponential curve. Let's solve this movie equation, break it down like fractions, and find all those juicy bits hiding in the plot.
All right. Hey, Professor, how do we do our ratings?
We do our ratings on a scale of 1 to 5 fucks. 5 fucks is a movie that we think is cinematic gold. A 1 fuck movie is where you get done watching it and you're thinking, I'm never watching this again.
And what's a 0?
A 0 fuck movie is where you get done watching it and you turn to your buddy and you say, oh, for shit's sake, what the hell? Why would you make me watch this? I want 1 hour and 43 minutes of my life back.
Or in other words, we just don't give a fuck. Is that funny?
You guys are crazy.
Well, thank you, cuz. All right. Well, I guess it's my cousin, so I guess it could count as my movie. Is it my movie? Was it my pick? Whose pick was
Well, it
it?
was supposed to be my pick.
Oh,
this
so it
week,
was your
but then I
Okay.
was told to basically take a back seat, and
Hey,
your cousin was coming.
that's right. When my cousin comes to town and says she wants to be on the fucking show, guess what? She gets to be on the fucking show.
Well, she also liked my review or my wheel better. She liked it. So I'm in favor of it.
Yeah,
She can come back anytime.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that at the moment. So we'll see. All right, I'll go first, fuckers. Stand and Deliver, I think, is a feel-good movie. And to me, it's one of those classic movies that is full of hope and inspiration. And at the time, it was really one of the only Latino movies out there. And painting Latinos in a positive light, especially the male figures, and as the teacher. I think Edward James Olmos gives an outstanding performance. I buy him as the teacher. I am motivated by him as the teacher, and I just love the performance. I thought the kids did a really good job. I bought that they were supposed to be high school seniors. The standout for me was Angel, just because he was funny, but yet he wanted to be this big cholo. And it turns out that he also wanted to learn and get an education and better himself. And, I like to think that he did, but who knows after it's all said and done. Fundamentally, this movie is well paced for me. It comes in at 1 hour 40 minutes. And a little bit of a lull here and there. I will admit that some of the classroom scenes where we're learning can drag on just a wee bit. But for the most part, it doesn't take me out of it. I have a good time. I can still tear up at certain points. And what I remember most about this movie is seeing it with my dad before it got released, and nostalgia is going to play some part of it in this review. So for me, I'm giving Stand and Deliver 4.5 fucks.
Shall I go next?
No, I want the professor to go next.
Stand and Deliver is a movie that I've never seen before. And so this is my first time watching it. In watching it, I enjoyed looking at the life of Escalante. He shows a lot of passion and a lot of heart with his students. And that was something that made me feel good inside. The movie in general is a good movie. The movie lacks, however, in the score. I really wanted to have a stronger resonance of emotion in a stronger score. And I think at the time that the movie was made, it's trying to be, kind of an edgy city urban feeling score. But what I wanted more out of it was tugging at your heartstrings a little bit more. And because that wasn't there, the movie fell a little short for me. Every time Lou Diamond Phillips was on screen, he was always my favorite character. And he was one I always gravitated towards. Angel was a delightful character to see, have him on his mathematical journey of being a kid from the streets to knowing that he could be something other than just a kid from the streets and in wanting to pursue, greatness in math. Even though he's a work of fiction, I still enjoyed the character a great deal. But hands down, Edward James Olmos, he's wonderful in this role. And I think that he puts a lot of the original person, the real person, into his acting. And I'm guessing that the original Jaime Escalante probably appreciated his work very much as well. I haven't heard otherwise. But I'm thinking in general, for me to watch this movie again, I'm pretty wishy-washy about it. I'm giving this movie 3 fucks.
3 fucks from the professor. All right, comic book guy. Your turn, bud.
Before I do you want to guess what my rating is going to be?
Racism. That's your fucking rating. All right. You are going to give Stand and Deliver 3.25 fucks.
3.25. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Cheater! You cheated.
Well, you can't prove it. And okay, you know what? I did cheat.
Give me another score.
I got your, okay. 3.25 fucks.
You're sticking with the same one.
Are you trying to tell me that I'm wrong? Are you trying to feed me?
No, I just want to make sure you're not cheating.
All right, 3.25 fucks.
Okay. Stand and Deliver is an inspirational film that really resonates with me on a personal level when thinking of how much my mother was similar to this character in the way that she taught, the way that she cared about her students, the way that she, sought to reach out to these students, and just seeing the impact that he had on his student and had on the school and had on the future of all the kids that he taught and this program touched is just so moving, and it's a great story. And I love the fact that he never gave up on these kids. He really taught them that what they do is important and how they act will impact their own lives. Even the fact of kicking out the kids who show up late, he taught them that your future will be like that. If you show up to a job late, your boss is not going to put up with it. You're going to get fired. So he taught them the meaning of commitment. It's also not just a film about math. It's a movie about the power of belief and the belief in oneself. So that was another thing that really impacted my view of this movie. It's also a tribute to teachers who make a difference. And for me, it stands as a personal testament to even the legacy that my mother created in her own classroom. Just like Jaime, she was a force of change, proving that with hard work and determination and a little faith, anything is possible. And so that's what I really got out of this movie. My only issue with this movie involves the level of interaction that we see between Escalante and the students. Throughout the movie, we witness his students connecting with him and transforming into the people they're going to be. But we aren't privy how those connections are made, or a lot of the connections made. We did give some examples during this podcast, but I would have loved to see more of how he connected with the students. I also felt like the students' stories, their personal stories, were rushed to a point that I had trouble connecting with them beyond Anna and Angel. But even their bits of the movie felt shortened. I would have loved a movie, and maybe someday they could do it from another viewpoint of seeing these kids' lives, outside of the classroom and outside of the teaching, and how their lives changed over time because of the impact this teacher had on them. So it's for those reasons I'm giving Stand and Deliver 3.5 fucks.
Oh, fuck you. I was off by just a hair.
It's a great story that had a lot more to tell, in my opinion. So I actually wanted more, and that's the only reason why I'm discounting this movie.
Yeah, well, fuck you then.
I didn't think a 3.5 was really a discount, but he's really a hard act to follow
Why?
because of everything he said. It made me feel like you really, really appreciated this movie. So I was going to guess.
Oh, don't let him
4.
fool you.
No, I mean, listening to him, if I were listening on the other side when I download your podcast, I would have felt, actually I do, more connected to everything you said. I think you did an excellent review on this film.
Well, thank you.
The pros.
This is why
and
she can come back.
Well, I'm just being honest. The pros and the cons, and I'm going, damn. I wished I would have had the cheat sheet so I could have wrote all my stuff down instead of just winging it.
I actually ended up winging it. I had a lot of other things I was going to say, but I didn't like what I had to say.
Well, I loved what you had to say.
I was going to go into more about my mother, but I didn't want to make it too much about my mother.
No, but I think because you're speaking from your own personal experience and how this film connected you to your personal experience. And I think that's what good films do, is that they have a connection with you, and that's what makes them good films.
Okay, I'm giving the movie a 5.
No, seriously.
Are you changing your score?
No.
No.
But she's making me feel good.
Well, but
Good.
I'm glad. I'm glad I'm making you feel good.
All right, what do you give it?
I am rating this movie 4 fucks because there's always room to grow. But I also agree with John that I do want more. And I always think also a good film wants you to want more and wants you to know what's happening after that. So even though most sequels are not as good as the original, having a follow-up movie to say this is what happened because they got those scores, what did they do next? So somebody make another movie about the individuals that benefited from Mr. Escalante's teaching.
Oh, sure. Any story that can be told and you want to know what happens afterwards, that's just great storytelling.
That's a great point about a movie that makes you want more.
Okay, can I say one more thing?
Of course you can.
I just want to thank you all for welcoming me into your home and onto this little set you have here. And I think you guys are fantastic. I'm going to have to listen to your podcast.
She's going to start listening.
Well, there you go. Hey, maybe that's what it is, right? You got to come onto the show to actually start to appreciate it, to go, you know what? Maybe these fuckers do know what they're doing, and we'll listen.
That's what we need to start doing. Let's have people on one at a time so we build our subscriber base.
All right, with 4.5 fucks from me, 3 fucks from the professor, and 3.5 fucks from the comic book guy, that gives Stand and Deliver an average of 3.7 fucks, which now ties it in the 17th spot with Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Miracle on 34th Street, Nope, Green Street Hooligans, Dogma, Talladega Nights, Halloween, Interstellar, and The Outsiders. It is slightly better than 1917, Top Gun, Commando, The Shining, and Devotion. And it is slightly worse than Booksmart, The Blues Brothers, The Muppet Movie, The Usual Suspects, Hell or High Water, Fallen, Cabin in the Woods, and Fight Club. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Three Guys in a Flick. If you would like to know which movie we're going to be reviewing next, please check out the website. And speaking of which, John, where can they find us?
They can always find us at our website, threeguysinaflick.com, where we go ahead and post all of our podcasts, all of our show notes, anything else we feel like putting there. And there's a form on there where you can submit a movie you would like us to review next. You can also find us at all of social media and every place that hosts podcasts. And while you're listening to us right now, when this podcast ends, go ahead and give us a review, a rating, comments, and make sure if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button because we'd love to add you to the list.
All right. I just want to say a very special thank you to my cousin Denise. Thank you so much for coming on the show and being a part of it.
And definitely come back anytime.
Did you have a good time?
Oh, I had a fantastic time.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay,
But
you wouldn't-
next time I'm going to be more prepared.
Oh, you did a
You
great job.
you did a fine job.
And in fact, do you feel like you checked it off the bucket list?
Oh, yeah, this is definitely a bucket list.
Right. And since none of my family really listens, you did better than your daughter.
Nikki listens.
No, well, guess what, Nick? You need to come back and
The
show
bar-
up your mom now.
The bar has
Yeah,
been
the bar
raised.
has been raised. Hey, Nick, your mom just Jaime Escalante you. Okay, so
Yeah.
you got to come back and
What-
be on the list.
Gijonas? What was it? What's the word?
Cajonas,
Oh,
She has to show
Donna's.
ganas.
ganas. She has to show her ganas.
You know
Wait,
what
no,
he
you
just-
can't say she has to show her ganas. You can't say that.
Does
Racist.
Does he know what he was saying before?
Cojones,
Do you?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cojones.
Okay.
I just see how we did this. Wow, they're up here, dude. That's crazy. That's weird.
Well, I didn't think you'd see them down here.
Yeah.
So I had to put them up on the table. I'm old. They do that.
For fuck's sakes. Is there anyone you want to say hi to, or you have a book? You wrote a book, right?
I did write a book, and it's actually in English and Spanish. It's bilingual, and it was a family project because Don was my illustrator, and my Uncle Gary, Don's dad, my uncle, he was my publisher, and I'm the author. So the book is titled Go Back to Sleep by Jeanette Angel. You can find it on Amazon.com, and you can find me on Facebook. So if you buy the book and you're in Denver, I'll autograph it for you.
What was the original title? What did I name it?
Okay, but I gave Don gave it a new title, and he said, Go the fuck back to sleep.
That's right.
But it's a children's book, so we didn't name it that.
Oh, yeah.
But thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. I also want to thank anyone who has listened and who's suggested a movie. If you keep listening, we'll keep recording. For Three Guys in a Flick, I'm Don.
I'm John.
I'm Ken.
I'm Denise. Thanks for listening.
Three guys with some mics, yeah, dive into the flicks. We're here for the real talk, no time for the tricks. Dawn as the captain, steering us right. Kid drops now, is shedding light. John with the comics, bringing the hype. From the good, the bad, to the absurd, we break it down, make sure you heard. Passion for the screen, we ride or die about movies. You know we always give a fuck, no lie.
Wait, so have you listened to any of our shows?
I have in the past.
She listened to the one her daughter was on.
And before that, I listened to a few.
Well, you guys keep saying that, but I don't know if that's true.
Well, I remember there was this one movie. There was a girl in it.
There was one that you swore on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. You guys ready to give this a shot?
I'm ready.
Let's fire it up.
Orale.
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 Orale. I don't like that.
I thought it sounded good.
Yeah, but you're white.
Okay. So I shouldn't say when you say in comic book guy, orale.
No, if you can say orale.
Orale.
Nope, you can't do it.
I probably can't even do it either.
Try it.
I watch a lot.
Orale.
Yo, it sounds better than him.
I watch a lot of wrestling.
You try it.
So they do it in wrestling.
What is it again?
Orale.
Orale.
Yeah,
Oh,
see,
you
it sounds-
do it the best.
Orale.
What?
She's a long-time listener, big fan.
Just keep going. I'm sure there's going to be other words in here you're going to mispronounce.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for the vote of confidence. Name 3 of any of the movies we've reviewed. Wow.
That should be the first trivia question.
Sorry. I can't.
And I expect you to get every single name right.
Orale, Holmes. You know who you're talking to.
I want you
That
to
was better.
do it like that the whole time.
Yeah, that was much better.
Look at
We
Professor
won't-
cringing over here. God damn it. Please don't do it. Please don't do it.
Can you hear Roxy looking in her bowl?
Yes, I can.
Well, fucking look at you.
Yeah, whoop-de-doo.
I was going to say, what happened to Whoop-de-Doo Basil?
Whoop-de-doo, Basil. That's from another movie. Austin Powers. I don't know if you
I
remember.
didn't watch that either.
No, shocker, cousin. Shocker.
It comes from another movie, Pulp Fiction.
I did watch that movie.
What?
I did. I watched.
That's insane.
I
Get
watched
out.
it twice. Like I had to watch it twice in the same day because I wasn't sure I understood the.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
You love Pulp Fiction?
I loved Pulp Fiction. Yes.
Oh, wow. We did a podcast on Pulp Fiction. Not that you would listen. What movie did we just do? Oh. Stand and... My computer died, so...
Oh, that's
Oh, did you need me to plug you in?
That's a loaded question, and I reserve the right to answer that later.
So how much editing do you do?
A lot.
For you mother... No, not you. All right, so this is the point of the show where the professor drops his head and goes, "You fucking guys."
But
Guy.
this title is already a porno title.
It does stand like or sound like a porn name.
Stand and deliver?
Yes, honey.
Yeah.
Stand and deliver.
Oh, when you say it like that. All right, well, we'll count that as yours. How many do you got?
I have 3.
I have
2, and then Julie had a son.
I have one.
Okay, why don't you give me your one?
Stand and fist her.
That was Julie's.
Get the fuck out of here.
I have stand and deliver my load, and stand and bend her over.
All right, what do you got?
Stand and diddle her.
Ooh, that's a good one.
All right, may all of your days and nights be filled with happiness. All right, fuck off. Good night.
3 guys in a fight, keep the passion alive. Fuck